Hey, what's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. We got an article we're going to discuss about Amazon today. The article comes to us from CNBC, and it's titled, Amazon is shipping expired food from baby formula to old beef jerky, scaring consumers and putting big brands at risk. And this isn't the first time we've kind of heard about this type of stuff happening on Amazon. And just kind of one takeaway from this article before we get into it. I actually haven't even read this article for myself yet, so I'll be reading it for the first time with you guys. But if you guys remember, back in July, there was another kind of scare or article that came out, and Amazon was warning consumers who bought Align supplements, which is a prebiotic or a probiotic, apparently fake Align, which is a Procter & Gamble product, was being sold on Amazon. Now, that's one of the problems about Amazon. Amazon, I don't know if I want to say they don't do a good job of protecting brands and keeping counterfeits off there, but definitely anybody who's sold on Amazon, you know all the dirty tricks that the kind of bad apples out there can pull. People can hijack your very own listing, your company, your trademark. People can hijack your listings and basically kick you off your own listing. People can rewrite your listings. There's a lot of money to be made on Amazon, especially with like big brand name products and products that sell really well. And the people who really know how to work the system, they can hop onto a listing, sell a bunch of counterfeit shit, and make a whole bunch of money before they finally kind of get caught and get kicked off. And so kind of one takeaway that I had from this article, I see a lot of people talking about, like, why would anybody buy something off my Shopify store as opposed to just buying it off Amazon? And I think there are certain categories of products that people most definitely will buy from a company that they know and trust as opposed to buying on Amazon. And, kind of going to this Wired article about the probiotics, if you go to some of like the online supplement stores, whether it's like big names like, GNC or Vitamin Shop, or even like smaller names like a Tiger Fitness or an A1 Supplements or a Same Day Supplements, these companies oftentimes will charge 2 to 3 times what Amazon charges, yet they're still doing plenty of business. And I think a large part of that is because people want to know, people want to buy those types of items, especially items that they put on their skin, that they ingest, that they feed to their dogs or their babies. People want to know that they're getting authentic products, that they're not getting expired products. And I think oftentimes people are willing to pay more to buy from somebody that they actually trust. I take a fair amount of vitamins and supplements, and I would say it's pretty much like a 50-50 toss-up when I buy supplements off Amazon, whether they're expired or not. So I pretty much have just stopped doing that. But that's kind of what this article is all about. So let's hop in here and read about this. Expired food is regularly sold to consumers via third-party vendors on Amazon. Amazon's marketplace has grown to millions of sellers, making it hard for the company to adequately police the platform, and many of the brands have grown so frustrated by the abundance of expired products that they're taking steps to clean up the marketplace themselves. So this goes on to read, Amazon's sprawling marketplace consisting of millions of third-party sellers has become a go-to site for many grocery shoppers, especially since the company's acquisition of Whole Foods over 2 years ago. But an increasing number of consumers are finding that just as the broader Amazon marketplace has a major issue with counterfeits and unsafe products, the grocery selection is littered with similarly problematic items in the form of expired foods. From baby formula and coffee creamer to beef jerky and granola bars, items are arriving spoiled and well past their sell-by dates, Amazon customers say. Interviews with brands, consumers, third-party sellers, and consultants all point to loopholes in Amazon's technology and logistics system that allows for expired items to proliferate with little to no accountability. Consumer safety advocates worry that as the marketplace grows, the problems will only get worse. And what's kind of interesting here, will Amazon's success ultimately kind of lead to their downfall? Within Amazon's $900 billion empire, food sellers are among the more than 2.5 million businesses using the site for distribution, a group that now accounts for 58% of the company's total merchandise sold. Third-party merchants sell products, new and used, from all over the world that they purchase from official distributors, flea markets, and clearance aisles. CNBC scanned the grocery and gourmet category, finding customer complaints about expired hot sauce, beef jerky, granola bars, baby formula, and baby food, as well as a 6-month-old goldfish crackers and a 360 pack of coffee creamer that arrived with a rancid smell. A data analytics firm that specializes in the Amazon marketplace recently analyzed the site's 100 best-selling food products for CNBC and found that nearly 40% of sellers had more than 5 customer complaints about expired goods. Closeout sales and liquidation warehouses can be a hotbed for expired food that ends up on Amazon. In 2017, when Starbucks announced it was shuttering its Teavana locations, many sellers purchased discount tea-related merchandise from the store and resold it on Amazon. Today, you can find Teavana products such as rock sugar and fruit teas listed on Amazon, even though they were discontinued 2 years ago. And here's what I think part of the problem with Amazon is, right? Like, if I have my own Shopify store, even if I'm selling third-party goods, like, you know, we'll go back to the supplements example. I'm Tiger Fitness, and I'm selling supplements from Redcon One and Blackstone Labs, and was that vitamin? It was like Garden of Life vitamins. I really don't want to sell people expired stuff because eventually people are going to start, you know, posting on, fitness forums, workout forums, because most of these forums have an area for people to review supplements, review shops. People are going to start posting, Tiger Fitness sells expired stuff. Tiger Fitness is selling counterfeit stuff. On Amazon, however, when people are selling third-party stuff, unless it's actually the company themselves who have their own protected listing up on Amazon, really anybody can hop on that listing and try to make some money, and they don't really have a reputation to upkeep. The reputation that they're trashing is actually the reputation of Now Foods or Garden of Life or Redcon One, or they're trashing other companies' reputations essentially by selling expired stuff, and they're making money, kind of laughing all the way to the bank. So moving on, for the Teavana listing, the top customer review says the tea had a terrible chemical smell, possibly from spoiled fruit. The listing also clearly shows a not for resale label, which is alarming, said Sarah Sausher, Deputy Director of Regulatory Affairs at the Center for Science in the Public Interest, or CSPI, a consumer advocacy group. The not for resale label likely indicates that the products lack proper nutrition labels or other features that are necessary in direct-to-consumer sales, she said. At least someone in the supply chain is considering these not suitable to be offered for consumption. An Amazon seller who has sold sugar, spices, and other food products on the site for the past 9 years told CNBC that Amazon didn't respond to numerous inquiries about the out-of-date Teavana products. Representatives from Nestle, which owns the rights to sell Starbucks coffee and tea, including Teavana, declined to comment. An Amazon spokesperson told CNBC that products sold on the site, including those not marked for resale, must comply with laws and Amazon policies. Third-party sellers are required to provide Amazon with an expiration date if they're selling an item meant for consumption, and must guarantee that the item has a remaining shelf life of 90 days. Well, here's the thing. All you have to do is type in an expiration date. So somebody could very easily just lie about the expiration date. Whether that Amazon policy is effective is a big question, says food safety experts. There's no indication of how well the policy is enforced, and I can tell you it's not enforced very well, said Thomas Gremillion, Director of Food Policy at advocacy group Consumer Federation of America. Some sellers could be making a business decision to sell expired products and let Amazon catch some of it and toss it out and persist. Stale Doritos, one third-party listing for hot and spicy Doritos, a bestseller in Amazon chips category and a featured product, has numerous reviews saying the chips were stale and set to expire in a matter of days. Popular listings for Fiji water, including one featured by Amazon, shows reviews with users claiming they received recycled Fiji bottles filled up with tap water. That's disgusting. What's this? An example of a customer complaint about coffee creamer. And you guys can see this is disgusting. It looks like mayonnaise. It's curdled. Here we have an example of expired beef jerky that's growing mold. You know what? We're going to snag this one and maybe use it as a screenshot for this video. Oh, and the dreaded box that we hate pops up. It's been happening a lot lately. Let's see. Angie Atkinson of St. Louis was surprised in February when she received a box of Land O'Lakes half and half creamers purchased on Amazon and opened it to find that the carton was curdled. She looked at the use-by date and was horrified when she saw they were already expired. It didn't occur to me that you could even sell something that was expired, Atkinson said in an interview. If I had bought it for the first time and it was like that, I would have never bought it at all. By the time Andrea Wilson realized her Hostess brownies were more than a year old, she had already eaten one. She contacted Amazon about the order. The issue wasn't resolved until she tweeted at the company. She got her full refund, but she said she's done buying food from Amazon. I'm leery now, said Wilson, who lives in Washington, D.C. area. It wasn't just a month old, it was a whole year, which I thought was pretty extreme. Amazon said in a statement, with A to Z guarantee, customers are always protected whether they make a purchase from Amazon or a third-party seller. And you know what? The whole A to Z guarantee thing is kind of bullshit. I might have complained about this recently, but I bought an item recently which said it had Prime shipping, only to see right after I bought it was a bike lock. And only to see right after I bought it, it said I wasn't going to get it until like November 29th, which it's been a couple weeks. I mean, we're talking like a 6-week delivery time. I immediately contacted I immediately tried to open a claim. Amazon wouldn't let me open a claim because it said the delivery date hadn't happened yet. I contacted the seller and I was like, look, man, I don't want this bull. I wanted a bike lock like within 2 days or a week. Like, I didn't want a bike lock 6 weeks from now when winter's already started here in Chicago. And he was like, oh, sorry, it already shipped. And so I got to kind of get that one taken care of. But Amazon's guarantees aren't what they used to be. Anyhow, after CNBC brought a number of expired food products to Amazon's attention, the company said it took corrective action to make sure the listings were in line with its standards. Amazon said they were isolated incidents that didn't require enforcement action against sellers or removing any of the products. And here's what's kind of interesting about that. Amazon didn't kick the sellers off. So it could have been one of two things. It could have been somebody was knowingly buying expired stuff to resell because the margins were good. Or it could just be that, the way that Amazon works, we send our stuff into Amazon's warehouses. It all kind of gets commingled. If you're selling the same product that somebody else is selling, which could be something like coffee creamers, what actually sells, you don't know if it's coming out of your stock or their stock. So potentially the wrong people can be penalized. But another thing is maybe just this stuff was just sitting in a warehouse forever, and Amazon wasn't getting out the stuff with expiration dates that were coming up sooner first. So Amazon's sending out shipments of coffee creamer that expire 2 years from now, but they're letting the stuff sit in a warehouse that expires 100 days from now, and so people wind up getting expired stuff. Let's see. Many of the identified products continue to receive complaints that they're expired, with some showing negative reviews posted as recently as this week. An imperfect process. Amazon's spokesperson said the company uses a combination of humans and artificial intelligence to monitor the 22 million pieces of customer feedback received weekly for product quality and safety concerns. Amazon may remove products or suspend an account if the seller violates policies. We work hard to make sure customers receive high-quality products when they order from our store, the spokesperson said. We have robust processes in place to ensure customers receive products with sufficient shelf life. If customers have concerns about items they purchased, we encourage them to contact our customer service directly to work with us so we can investigate and take appropriate action, the spokesperson added. Regulators and lawmakers are paying close attention to Amazon's every move now as part of a broader review of big tech. Specific to consumer safety, 3 Democratic senators recently sent a letter to CEO Jeff Bezos after the Wall Street Journal report found thousands of unsafe or banned products on the site. In response to the request, Brian Huseman, Amazon's vice president of public policy, said that bad actors are constantly attempting to evade our automatic tools and review procedures. Amazon said it feeds data from suspended listings and accounts into its AI system so that they can get better at detection and blocking of suspicious activity. Human moderators can also trigger an investigation if they receive feedback suggesting a product is unsafe. In the food category, Amazon uses a database called Heartbeat to monitor consumer commentary through reviews, phone calls, emails, and seller feedback for safety issues. Now, I'll tell you something that's going to happen on the back of articles like this coming out, and it's kind of coming to everybody's attention. People play dirty on Amazon, and you're going to have the bad actors on Amazon reporting, or what they're going to do, they're going to wind up ordering from their competitors who may be legitimate sellers, and they're going to wind up leaving reviews and using these kind of keywords that are automatically going to trigger an investigation or a suspension. They're going to be like, I ordered this coffee creamer and it was chunky. I think it might be magic word expired. And then all of a sudden a legitimate seller winds up getting taken down. So, people kind of know how to work the Amazon system, and people who play dirty can definitely make people's lives hells who are actually legitimate business people. Anyhow, even with all these tools, several consultants who advise sellers say Amazon needs to rely on more than just customer complaints and refunds to catch expired foods. They argue that Amazon needs to devise new strategies to police the marketplace more effectively and improve detection of questionable products while strictly enforcing its policy when a third-party seller breaks the rules. Sorcerer of CSPI says Amazon's technology is clearly coming up short. Expiration dates are a red flag for what else is harder to see, she said. If you can't do something as basic as check an expiration date, then what else are you missing? Analysts from the data firm 3PM performed for CNBC on best-selling food products, and customer complaints fits with what the firm has seen in other categories. John Durkitz, 3PM's chief product officer, worked at Amazon until June, most recently overseeing the electronics section of the third-party marketplace in Canada. He said that in his experience, the company was working to find solutions to food-related issues, but there remained big gaps in its inability to prevent the shipment of expired to near-expired products. They hadn't yet earned my trust as either an Amazon employer as either an Amazon employee or a customer, that I would be safe purchasing a consumable or expiration dated product from a third-party seller, Durkett said. Food sellers also suffer from a more general problem on Amazon, which is that consumers generally don't know if they're buying from a big seller, small seller, or from Amazon itself. Two sellers, one with a perfectly fine item and another with expired products, could be on the same listing competing for the same so-called buy box. When shoppers receive expired products from third-party sellers, they often leave negative reviews or seller ratings for the manufacturer who have nothing to do with the sale. And that's what I said before. What I think ultimately needs to happen is if you want to sell any food products, supplements, really anything ingestible, anything that gets put on your skin, Amazon should really crack down and either only let the brand themselves sell it, or only let registered or authorized third-party distributors. Otherwise, what winds up happening is you have people running out to a grocery store that's going out of business, a supplement store that's going out of business, and buying up expired products for pennies on a dollar, and then turning around and selling that shit on Amazon because they know they can turn a profit, and they really don't have any reputation to protect. And who winds up looking bad is the companies whose products they are selling, not the third-party guy who just shipped in a box of stuff to Amazon. So we talked about the two damaged parties. Let's see. Yet another snag in the review system is that Amazon will cancel certain negative seller reviews if the product delivered was fulfilled by Amazon, meaning that it was shipped from one of the company's warehouses. For example, if a bottle of shampoo sent from an Amazon fulfillment center showed up with a leak, Amazon would cancel the bad review saying this was fulfilled by Amazon and we take responsibility for the fulfillment experience. Thus, some complain about expired food products are being canceled even if they're legitimate, and nobody is being held accountable for the mishap. Using software provided by 3PM, CNBC searched for seller feedback containing the word expired across a sample of a dozen popular vendors and found that each of these vendors had at least 5 reviews that were canceled by Amazon. One example of a canceled review that 3PM shared with CNBC reads, expired product sent and return option not available. Salsa with 4 months past expiration August of 2018, shipped December 2018. Taking back control at big companies selling on Amazon and policing listings is such a complex job that teams of people are hired to work on it. John Fandel, head of graphics at Southwest Specialty Foods, has expanded his duties beyond designing and packaging the company's products, with an increasing number of merchants selling Southwest hot sauces, popcorn, peanuts, and other goods. Customer complaints have been on the rise. Fandel said at one point that there were more than 30 resellers for each of the company's 200-plus listings, creating a chaotic, unpredictable experience. Southwest has considered hiring more employees to monitor third-party sellers, he said. We want to make sure that when you're shopping for our product, it's not something that will hurt you. So here you have companies whose reputations are being tarnished by Amazon and Amazon sellers who really have no power to actually protect themselves. Here, this guy's got 30 sellers on each one of their 200 listings. I mean, it's thousands of sellers. Healthcare giant Abbott Laboratories, which manufactures consumer products like Similac baby formula and Pedialyte, is dedicating more resources to monitoring its supply chain to spot fraudulent or expired listings on Amazon. After encountering problems with expired Similac being sold by some sellers, Abbott has recommended that Amazon shoppers only buy products that are shipped and sold by the company directly. And this article already touched on how for your average consumer, they don't know who the hell they're buying product from. They see the Amazon Prime button and they assume they're buying it from Amazon. Here's another interesting thing about Amazon. I haven't sold baby stuff on Amazon in a while, but one thing that always surprised me is like you can't get into the collectibles category, like the sports card and collectibles category, without going under a heavy review. You can't sell supplements on Amazon without providing, I think it's 10 invoices showing a certain quantity of items bought. You have to provide that to Amazon to sell in that category. There's many other categories that Amazon gates and makes people jump through hoops to get into. But the baby category is actually one that anybody can buy, products from China, products off Alibaba, AliExpress, and throw right up on Amazon with no review. That always kind of surprised me. Anyhow, after manufacturing, we make every effort to ensure that our products reach our customers through approved, regulated channels, the company told CNBC in a statement. Our global security team works diligently to prevent sale by third-party sellers, including working closely with all distribution partners, including Amazon.com, to identify and request removal of these sellers. More than 2 years after spending $13.7 billion on an upscale grocery chain, Whole Foods, Amazon is a major player in the grocery business, but on its core e-commerce site, the company risks losing the trust of consumers if it can't clean up listings. That's kind of a great example. If Amazon fails to clean up listings of third-party sellers selling foods, people are just going to decide, I'm not going to buy any food, anything consumable off Amazon. And all that money they spent on the acquisition of Whole Foods pretty much goes down the drain because people aren't going to trust Whole Foods either. Those who pay the closest attention to the marketplace are skeptical of Amazon's ability to fix this particular mess. They've chosen to set up a business model where they don't take responsibility for the food that they sell, said Shorshirt. Traditional grocery stores have a lot of products, but they don't put it on the shelf if it's not safe. Here's Amazon's statement in full. We work hard to make sure customers receive high-quality products when they order from our store. We require all selling parties to abide by strict product quality guidelines. We use a combination of artificial intelligence. Okay, so we already kind of read that nonsense. So anyhow, that's the article. Curious to hear what you guys think about it. Go ahead and drop a comment in the comments section below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.